I'm Omster. Actually, every night I'm Omster, but tonight I'm Omster and we're streaming Div A, the High Inquisitors facing off against Can't Pause, Won't Pause. We've just finished coin flip. High Inquisitors won the coin flip and they chose to go first map. So as we wait for the game to come up, I can give you a little bit of information about what we'll be seeing here. So our map bans were Brax's Holdout and Towers of Doom by the High Inquisitors. Excuse me. And Sky Temple and Volskaya Foundry for Can't Pause, Won't Pause. And the first map we'll be playing is Garden of Terror. So we'll be seeing the first pick by Can't Pause, Won't Pause, because the map pick was the High Inquisitors. So Can't Pause, Won't Pause were defeated last week, so this is going to be their opportunity to get a win on the board. High Inquisitors, I haven't yet taken the opportunity to check their record, but let's have a quick look here on our Nexus Gaming site. Of course, if you want more information about what's going on with Nexus Gaming, you can check nexusgamingseries.org, and there's a lot of wonderful information there. Excuse me. So the High Inquisitors won last week, defeating Came From Behind 2-1. So they do have a victory. So as we get the teams together, feel free to speculate over who you think will win. The home team for this series is going to be the High Inquisitors. And we're looking forward to some high-octane gameplay here in Div A. Tonight is going to be a solo cast, so we'll see if we'll be able to keep our voice going the whole time. If we're lucky, another 3-game series like we had last night. I may pause occasionally. I sometimes have a tickle in my throat and need to do a cough, so if I suddenly go silent, it's because I don't want you to hear me coughing in your ear. You're very welcome. So we've got our teams. We're just waiting for both teams to be ready, and we'll get going as soon as these teams are ready, and we'll pop into the draft. I don't know a lot about the heroes for High Inquisitors. In our previous cast of Can't Pause, Won't Pause, they were a fan of Diablo and Anubarak for their tank. Waterlong did some good work on Deckard Cain, if I'm recalling correctly. So looking forward to what comes out in both this draft and in these games. One team has readied up, so it should be just a moment. We'll double check here that we have a 30-second delay, making sure that we're not accidentally giving any team an unfair advantage, because that would be not cool. But I do believe we have the I do believe we have that. I said it earlier, and I don't cancel it when I turn off OBS. I try to make sure all my casts have a delay of 40 seconds, which I believe is around the standard. I think 30 seconds is the standard, but if it's longer than that and there are casters in the chat, feel free to let me know, and I can turn off stream and change it. If it's a minute or 3 minutes or whatever, I can change that in between games. Game 1 is going to be on Garden of Terror, and we're going to switch to the draft. So, of course, can't pause, won't pause banning first. So there's a lot of things that have risen in priority most recently. Dahaka's risen in priority since Hawker's been a bit nerfed. The Oriole, of course, very popular with the buffs she's gotten, and Johanna has dropped a little bit with some of the buffs that she's seen. And we've also seen people using the Laws of Hope build at 1 instead of the Flashlight build. Honest is our first ban, and always an excellent ban. Really good at pushing out, and of course really good with siege damage, turning off forts, switching minions to her side if she takes that talent. Stukov. Don't know if Waterlong is a Stukov main or if this is just a standard one. It's always a good idea to ban a Stukov, especially in places like Garden of Terror where there's a lot of tight choke points, and that puddle can get a lot of value. Anduin is banned from Can't Pause, Won't Pause. They don't want to see the pulls taking people out of danger. When they get on somebody, they want the damage to stick. So we've got our final ban coming out of the High Inquisitors. And one hopes they don't ban Artanis, because that would make Hoku very sad. We're down to 0, and the ban is Baka. So as we discussed earlier, one of the stronger ones. On Garden of Terror being large enough where the dig can get a lot of value, plus there being a lot of bushes on this map, they decide they don't want to see that big Zerg zooming at them out of a bush in the middle of a team fight. So our first pick here is going to be on the side of Can't Pause, Won't Pause. They're taking the full amount of time they have to decide what deserves top priority. And they're going to go with Falstad. So they do want that global pressure. And they didn't even have to be the ones to ban the Dahaka, which makes me wonder if we're going to see a Brightwing prioritized on the side of the High Inquisitors. Also, may I say, the people making the logos for these teams, excellent work. Very crisp looking. So again, they're going to take the full length of time. This is their only picks before the next ban phase, so they're going to take Muradin and Vala. Two strong and good all-around picks that don't really offer an insight into where they'd like to go with this draft, whether it's totally normal or gets a little bit funky. Blue Abyss, welcome to the stream. I would wave back, but you wouldn't see it since I'm not webcamming. Alright, so we get our next two picks before the next ban phase, and we're going to see Junkrat and Brightwing. So double globals on the side of Can't Pause, Won't Pause. And now we're going to our next ban phase. Junkrat, again, with the number of choke points on this map, the traps and the bombs give a lot of opportunity for catching people on the opposing team in positions they don't want to be in. So, a very solid choice. We're going the full length of the time on the bat. Oh, it's Johanna. So no tank's been picked yet on Can't Pause, Won't Pause, and they do not want to see the Crusader coming at them across the battlefield. So no healer has been picked yet, and they did ban the Anduin. So I wonder if we're going to see a little bit of a choke on the healer position, since the High Inquisitors have yet to pick their healer. But they may just have something else they don't want to see. And it's going to be Lucio. So they do... That's not the most common ban, so there's definitely a sense they have that they don't want to see. Interestingly enough, the Oriole not banned, and she tends to work really well with Vala. While she doesn't need the same level of a consistent battery that she did before, Vala and Oriole do tend to work fairly well together still. And I wonder if that's something we'll see coming out of the High Inquisitors. So they have their next options to pick. They've got their Flex, Offlane. So the Flex is Greymane. and they take their healer and Rhaegar, meaning they are going to leave their offlane for last, which is not a particularly uncommon strategy. Liking to see what they'll be going up against, and then maybe. But what we have here is a team that can really blow someone up if they get caught out of position. And so far, all the characters on the side of Can't Pause, Won't Pause are pretty squishy. Now, Blaze isn't, but Junkrat, Falstad, and Brightwing don't have huge health pools, and Greymane Vala getting in on them could make a fight end quickly. We see Blaze, and we have the ETC, a lower health pool tank, but ETC and Blaze working together bring a lot of stun, combined with a polymorph, and if someone on the High Inquisitors gets caught out of position, it's very unlikely they're getting away. Side of course, Murden with his leap. So we've got our last pick here. It's likely the offlane. We'll see what our options are. Still most open. The only offlaner banned has been Dahaka. I wonder if we'll see something strong like a Hogger here. And it's Malthael. Interesting choice. That definitely is going to make Blaze play a little more careful in lane. So our drafts are complete, fairly standard on both sides. A lot of global pressure and displacement from the Junkrat and the ETC on Can't Pause, Won't Pause. So as we pop into our game here, we're going to see the High Inquisitors versus Can't Pause, Won't Pause, Game 1. On Garden of Terror. No one picked the Lord of Terror on the Garden of Terror, so he's just going to watch his garden get destroyed. The poor feller. On the left side, in blue, we have the High Inquisitors. Murden, being played by PP Wolo. Greymane, played by Wafflecopter. Killer Fairy, playing the Vala. Omni, playing Rhaegar. And Tuesday's Free, on the offlane Malthael. On the right, in the red, we have Can't Pause, Won't Pause, Arco on ETC, Mischief playing Brightwing, Silent Shoe on the Falstad, Waterlong on Junkrat, and my pal Shade playing Blaze. Both teams looking to come into the middle and do a little bit of brawling, no weird funky stuff, although Blaze already heading to his top lane. Both tanks making sure that there's nothing crazy going on in the bushes. And my pal Shade looking to see if there's a possibility to get a stun, but both teams playing it fairly safe to start. We've got an auto attack Falstad pick, and we've got auto build for Vala. Blaze goes in, they're going immediately on Vala. They want to see if they can cost her some of her Gambit stacks already, but no kills able, but Killer Fairy down to about a quarter of her health there at one point. As the teams split off, Malthael already pushing the wave top, Falstad going to answer that, as Blaze is moving with the 4-man at the moment, interestingly enough. I guess they've decided that the Malthael into Blaze pressure is not something they want to deal with, and so Blaze is now moving with the 4-man. Malthael double soaking, which he's excellent at, taking on a pale horse, meaning his ability to move from lane to lane is, well, 20% increased. We've got Block Party on ETC. And other than that, we've got Totem Build on Rhaegar. And other than that, it looks like we've got a pretty standard game so far. Both in terms of what the teams are doing. Third Wind instead of Block Party, or not Block Party, Dwarven Block on Meridan. And so the teams are starting by taking their camps, Junkrat taking the siege, but the Bruiser camp already going over. And that's what you can do with an early game Vala and Greymane, is take camps really quickly. Both these characters are excellent at PV. Now, Arco's kind of by himself here. He's going to be in danger, but he does use that Q to get out. But Murden and Malthael want to make him pay for this. Brightwing coming in for more control. Sorry, for help. Made a mistake on who had the Brightwing there. Brightwing comes in, makes sure Arco's able to get away. And Blaze comes in just to make sure that there isn't any further follow-up. As Can't Pause, Won't Pause cleans up the Bruiser camp. But the Siege camp goes over to the blue team, and that's going to push mid. Blaze is going to be stuck here clearing that out. Malthael fighting Silent Shoe on his Falstad. Silent Shoe getting very, very low here. But Malthael's unwilling to dive for that, and Falstad gets away. So we've got the two globals currently trying to keep lane priority. And it looks like both teams kind of want to see if the other are going to be the first one to go after this, but PP Wolo decides to go in. Start fighting these, and Rhaegar is going to cap. Looks like Arco does not. Oh, there's a warning there. They're still going to cap. The red team has not put themselves in a position to contest this, and it looks like they're going to give it up. Nope. Another person. PP Wolo taking a lot of damage from those minions, and he's kind of out of this fight. He's got to let the third wind healing kick in. Up top, Arco trying to keep Waffle Copter and Tuesday free out of it. And again, that third wind putting in work. Wolo back to almost full health already. So, Falstad continuing to gain XP. It looks like they want to hit 7 versus Arco, taking a lot of damage there. Brightwing having not as much control over healing. Goes in on Shade with her Zed. My pal Shade taking a lot of damage. He looks like he's going to go down. And not quite yet, but Blaze is dead. Now Arco is also very low. The entire team is there, and the ETC goes down as well. And so that's 2 for 0. Now, Junkrat's still excellent, but Rhaegar's going to jump on the Junkrat and go, there's no way you're delaying my team. Malthael putting more damage, but it's not going to be enough. Waterlong will survive, but pretty clearly a big win. Now, Falstad was not down there for the fight, but even with soaking, because of the 2 kills given over to High Inquisitors, they do have an experienced lead, so there's going to have to be some soaking to hit 7 for Can't Pause, Won't Pause. And the teams look like they're going to take the opportunity to take a bit of a breath, get experience. R7's got Skullcracker, Normal, Wizen Duelist, Hot Pursuit, Massacre, Echo Pedal, Peekaboo, Secret Weapon. And the nanomachine coding, going to be huge. If this Blaze is played well, he's really going to make both Greymane and Vala's lives harder with that nanomachine coding. And if he just lights the oil on fire forever, every Blaze ever will come onto stream and go, "Why is he doing that? That's ridiculous! Ah, Blazes just don't know." I've heard that before because I'm a Blaze who always lights my oil on fire because I'm not bright. Blue team is just going to give up this seed, so it's just going to go straight over. They don't have as many tools as Can't Pause, Won't Pause does for delaying. So now blue team looking like they might want to invade this siege camp, and they've already got the entire bottom wall here. Arco's going to try and dissuade them from doing that. There's the cleanse on Greymane to keep him alive. My pal Shade coming in. The big stun on Greymane. Brightwing coming in because he takes a lot of damage. And that's kind of the problem here. If you only stun one of those 2 damage dealers, the other one's going to chunk you out. Already 31 stacks on Vala. Not huge for this point of the game, but she also hasn't died. There's only been 2 deaths, and they were ETC and Blaze. Blue team's going to get 10 first, which is going to make this, trying to delay this seed, close to suicide for Can't Pause, Won't Pause. I think because it's only the 2nd seed for the High Inquisitors, I do believe they're not going to try too hard to delay this, unless they can get their own 10s quickly as well. The siege camp going over to Blaze and Falstad. Blue team is rotating down, and they just don't quite have 10 yet. They're going to delay with the bombs. Okay, 10 coming in. So far, everything is pretty standard across both teams for ultimates. The last rites. Killer Fairy channeling does get hit by that Junkrat bomb. But the zoning here is going really well. Got the Mosh Party, Gust, Riptire, and Bunker. Blaze looking for that stun. Doesn't manage to get anything accomplished. And both teams, it seems like they're almost feeling each other out. Neither team willing to commit to the really hard engage because both teams have really good tools for making that difficult. Here comes the Riptire. Just to clear out the siege camp? No, he's going to try and get it on a hero. And it hits Greymane, but that's not very much damage. It's going to be healed up pretty quickly by Rhaegar. Muradin going for that. Oh, Vala attempts to take that bomb, but doesn't get in position in time. Are they going to give this up, or are they just trying to find themselves in a slightly better position? Muradin being an annoyance? Pretty ordinary thing for a Muradin. Killer Fairy tries to hit the Q, but doesn't quite get close enough. And Falstad takes it. So that's 2 seeds now for Can't Pause, Won't Pause. Welcome to the stream, Shibes. Or Shibes. don't know how German that is, Schiebs. Lots of damage. The cursed bullet goes out and takes a chunk out of Blaze. But again... Oh, Arco in a bit of an interesting position for the rotate, and ETC does not have a lot of health, but they don't manage to do enough damage on the follow-up with Vala completely out of mana. Blaze fighting Malthael, but again, a bit of a rough matchup for Blaze players. It doesn't take much for Malthael to just kind of suck all his health that you've taken back from you. Rhaegar taking the camp. One of the main reasons I would think people take Rhaegar on their team, besides the beautiful healing from Ancestral, is his ability to do camps faster than almost any other support. Although Ariel might be able to challenge him in terms of damage these days. Her whips are pretty lit. She got them lit whips. Malthael is still collecting. It looks like they're going to want to try and gank the Malthael, possibly. Nope. Just a little bit of punishment. And Murder's going to do the big stun. Junkrat's dead immediately. And this is going to force Can't Pause, Won't Pause to back out. It's going to be 2 seeds for 2 now. Excellent CC chaining. And that Junkrat, he put the bomb down knowing he was in danger. Didn't even have a chance to use it. And now they're looking to invade this Bruiser camp. Not a lot to be afraid of for Malfurion. Arco and Shade thinking about it, considering it, but they do just give it up. So at the moment, it seems like there's a little bit of an advantage structurally for the High Inquisitors mostly. Now, the gate is down at top for Can't Pause, Won't Pause. Siege Camp goes in. And Muradin, there's some dwarf on dwarf hate here. You know, the High King really disliking this dwarf on a duck. And more of the team is coming. Is Silent Shoe sniffing this out? He's going to try and get out. Oh, a great E. And they are not able to damage him. So this next seed is going to be hotly contested. It's going to be 3 for whichever team gets it. And with the structures only slightly in the High Inquisitors lead, both teams are thinking this is what they're going to need to get themselves ahead. Get some real siege damage, get a fort down, possibly get the catapults working in their lanes. 13, we've got Bronzebeard Rage. Nothing particularly unusual for either team. And red team's going to set up first. Now, it's often said that if you let the other team take some damage from these minions, you can get an advantage by coming in on them. And that's exactly what the High Inquisitors do. They go on Arco, get a lot of stuns. He's going to throw down the Mosh, which gets on Vala. She continues to be stunned, but this fight is all over the place. Silent Shoe getting a lot of damage on the Greymane. Up top, Mischief takes a lot of damage and goes down to the last rites. Arco summoning a big gust there to try and create some range. But it's looking like the health bars on the red side are quite a bit lower than the health bars on the blue side, and they don't have their healer. Brightwing is dead. Arco goes in deep at the bottom. Omni jumping on a Falstad. It looks like he might go down, but he gets out. But now Malthael's on him, and he's going to kill that bird. And the dwarf on top of it. Arco taking a lot of damage from Killer Fairy. My pal Shade tries to support, but gets killed instantly. And they're aware that there's a Junkrat here. Malthael trying to be cute. But the jump away for Waterlong, unfortunately. Well, he's going to try and delay. But Malthael is willing to soak those hits. They're going to jump over. But they're not able to catch it. But the respawn timers are short enough that the people who've been killed are getting back into this fight. Although if they continue to fight the way they're fighting, they're going to end up staggering deaths. They're going to need to be careful. Arco attempting just to be an annoyance. Another and a great Mosh hits 2. And his team's coming in. This is one of the benefits of having globals. They can bring their team in really quickly. So ETC goes down, but so does Malthael. Wolo just trying to keep pressure on the Brightwing, and instead his Stormbolt hits the Junkrat. And we're turning another fight. This has been like a 1.5-minute long team fight as people just respawn into it. Now Brightwing is capping it. And the globals really worked on their favor. They lost the original team fight, but the delay by the Junkrat Qs and the ability to come back with Falstad and Brightwing after they died turned a lost team fight into a one-team fight. It was incredible. A great jump there by PP Wolo, putting the stun on Falstad, but Brightwing is right there and keeps Silent Shoe from taking too much damage as the first gate is going to go down. And it looks like in the top lane, Greymane doing a lot of damage to that Garden Terror, but it takes the top fort down to about a third of its health. Not really any damage here. That seems... I have to say, Killer Fairies had a hard time landing those Rain of Vengeances. Most of them have come close to stunning, not quite getting a lot of value. In the bottom lane, Malthael is punishing Blaze for being by himself and getting moderate damage on this Garden Terror. It looks like it's going to get about 25% of this bottom fort, and the first Garden Terror phase is over. Both teams taking a breath after that long, tense team fight. And now this actually puts the High Inquisitors in a bit of an interesting position. They only need to get one more seed to return the favor. And Can't Pause, Won't Pause isn't going to want to cede that to them. They're going to want to try and collect every seed from now on, which does make things... which puts more pressure on their shoulders. My pal Shade here trying to take the camp, but he's getting invaded, and he's pretty much alone. Now remember, his team has 2 globals, but they're just going to cede this camp to the High Inquisitors. Greymane taking this camp on his own. And the Bruiser camp is taken by Can't Pause, Won't Pause. Arco here, tremendously slowed. Trying to protect his Siege Giants, but he's being 3v1. It's a big stun. There's the Rain of Vengeance. Vala going in hard. A great Z in. Oh, but it doesn't matter. The heal by Brightwing is not enough to keep ETC alive. And there's another kill. The kills are 8-2 for the High Inquisitors. A lot of damage coming down on my pal Shade, but he's popped his armor. The bunker goes down as well. Murden taking a lot of damage. He pops Avatar, but Junkrat goes down. The Gust pushes Vala and Rhaegar into the under the fort, and Rhaegar's going to be killed. Malthael coming in and putting some damage on the Brightwing, but not able to sustain long enough to make it matter. But we're seeing a lot of aggression on the blue team. The kills are 9-3. They really took a team that can fight well, and they gave up the ability to have globals. But on the other hand, they've got characters that really excel in team fighting, and now they're going to get their own Garden Terror phase. Simply Teal, welcome to the stream. I saw you there earlier, but these teams have been fighting non-stop. So, bot fort already down. Wolo positioning very aggressively to tell Can't Pause, Won't Pause he means business. And they're going to have to back off and just wait behind fort wall. They have now all 3 forts, so they're going to have catapults in every lane. And these Garden Terrors are still really healthy. They're going to push with most of their characters in the mid lane. Killer Fairy there. The Junkrat attempts to displace them towards him, but unfortunately not able to get a ton of value from that. The Garden Terror does go down. They take down the seed that's keeping the keep from firing. Bot lane is cleared, so now they're going to rotate to top lane, where most of that gate is down. Malthael threatens Silent Shoe, but there's a stun by my pal Blaze, but unfortunately there's not any damage to follow up, and this is going to be the end of that little engage. Now, 20s are complete for the High Inquisitors, and they're going to get very aggressive on this keep. Rewind, Tooth and Claw, Farflight Quiver, Farseer's Blessing, and no one can stop death. So instead of the ultimate upgrade, Malthael wants to reduce the risk. If he dies, he wants to be able to come back more quickly. On the flip side, the next time he dies, costing him more. But this is the sort of thing that can help mitigate getting picked or dying early in a team fight. I don't think you'd pop it if your whole team died together. You might as well respawn together, unless you need to defend the core. The blue team is now just controlling the map, and it looks like they're looking to see if Can't Pause, Won't Pause will come out to try to take camps. The Can't Pause, Won't Pause is playing it really safe. They want to hit 20, they're going to soak up, and they've got good characters that are able to go in. Waterlong almost gets caught, loses 2/3 of his health there, scanning that out. But great healing by Brightwing keeps him up. They steal the siege camp on Can't Pause, Won't Pause side of the map. And again, they're just waiting. They're waiting to see if there's any sort of stepping out. They want to punish. More stuns on Waterlong. He's going to boop himself out. They're going to try to chase him more, but he manages to get himself out. Now, Blaze is really far out. If he does not move, he will get chased down. Here comes Malthael, but he is out. Rhaegar had been thinking of helping to rotate there, but instead they come back to mid as they continue to try and take this mid keep down. But they're going to back off. Now, both teams are at 0 seeds, so seeds are not going to have as much value at this point in the game. At this point, it's about not losing a team fight, or at least not losing enough characters that the other team can end. Now, for blue team, they don't have to worry about that. They still have their forts in every lane, never mind keeps. So if they were to lose a fight, they can kind of rest knowing there's a chance they'll get back into it. On the other hand, can't pause, won't pause, cannot afford to lose 2 characters in a team fight now without taking their own pound of flesh. So they're going to take their bruiser camp. And again, we're seeing really crisp plays from High Inquisitors this game. It's not like there's been big mistakes on the side of can't pause, won't pause. They've been playing well. It's just been really covered. A big gust there with the wind tunnel. Now that they've hit 20, they're going to try and take down Murden. Pops the Avatar. He has to jump out. Arco's very low. Oh, a great stun there prevents Silent Shoe and Shade from finishing off Murden. And now the third wind is going to heal him all the way back up. Next seed is spawning here. Malthael and Greymon are going to go up to clear that bruiser camp so they don't even lose 1 fort. Red team is going to look at finding themselves a strong position around this seed. And it looks like we got the start of another fight, but Wolo jumps out. Again, blue team feeling very confident now. Again, they have the freedom to lose a fight, whereas red team doesn't, so they're feeling a little more aggressive, standing a little more up. There's a stun on Waterlong's Junkrat, but again, not followed up on, didn't need to be. Silent Shoe doing damage, but Malthael really chunking him out with the percent health damage. Malthael's taking a lot of damage, and he goes down. The Rhaegar Ancestral not in time. Arco stunned. The Riptire coming out. And blue team is forced to back off. Now, Malthael did pop his 20, so his next death is going to cost his team more time. So that's 1 seed each at this point. Red team finding themselves 1 character out of position and following up. But again, the High Inquisitors really looking to see if they can catch can't pause, won't pause making a mistake. But they're playing really smart right now. They're not making the mistakes. They're waiting for the right timing, and that's all you can really ask for from this team. Games have been in worse position and turned around. Blue team looking to get aggressive, firing off a Rain of Vengeance, but not finding anything. So Vala with 43,000 damage, and Malthael with 28, 34 for 60,000 on the Junkrat, although poke damage always kind of inflates those numbers. And I think one of the mild issues you get into, now Blaze gets this, but one of the mild issues you get with Junkrat and Falstad as your main damage is their damage takes time. They don't have a lot of ability to burst, especially with auto attack Falstad. So they need the fights to last a little bit, and when you have Mosh Pit, it often feels really satisfying to have the big, like, Li Ming burst or someone like a Chromie to hit hard there. So while they have a ton of utility in the Junkrat and the Falstad, they just don't have the big damage, which is, I think, one of the reasons they've had to really, really carefully pick their fights. Death metal, yeah. And that's the thing, too. Arco is now, I would say, almost more dangerous after he dives. You can't interrupt the death metal. PP Wolo comes in and jumps on Waterlong. There's the big heal there, and the big heal then on the Murden with the Ancestral. Bunker goes down, and Arco has to jump in, takes a lot of damage. He's going to continue taking damage from that Vala. Malthael up front. There goes the Death Mosh, though, and that's going to kill Malthael. The revenge kill from Beyond the Grave by ETC. But the health bar is much lower on Can't Pause, Won't Pause, and the High Inquisitors are going to have basically a free opportunity to take this seed. And Can't Pause, Won't Pause will go down to clear that camp out. It's interesting that they continue to choose to come mid. They're not trying to put pressure, but I mean, this is where their lane is pushed up, but you'd think they'd maybe start putting pressure on the top or bottom, and as it is, they're just trying to steal camps. Both teams playing very conservatively, and you say very wisely. Neither team wants to find themselves in a position where the other team can just, you know, win a 5-man team fight. But even the team fight's really, really close. We're seeing 2 for 2s, 1 for 1s. So some excellent plays from both Can't Pause, Won't Pause, and the High Inquisitors. Seems like it's going to be an excellent match. So next seed will be spawning here. Vala takes the time to steal the siege camp, so that's pushing. If there's another minute and a half team fight on the point, they also take this camp. And Can't Pause, Won't Pause has no opportunity to take their camps. They've all been taken already. Blaze looking to engage, gets the stun on 2, but taking a fair amount of damage from that. Arco is there, and Brightwing zips in to heal Shade. The Riptire almost looks like it's being used more for zoning. Greymane here lands a Q. Oh, Walla playing safe behind the wall, but oh, there's a 3-man mosh! Silent Shoe having to go in the bunker, but Blaze is dead. And Brightwing is at 1 health being chased. Waterlong super low. He goes down to the Greymane. Wafflecopter going off right now. He finally goes down to being polymorphed, but that's too late. Silent Shoe's Falstad goes down, and the last rights on ADC. It's a 5-man team wipe. And Malthiel goes in just to kind of prove he can on that death mosh, going, you got me with it last time, but this time doesn't matter. Siege camp already on, had been taking chunks out of the core. This is a big win for the High Inquisitors. Game 1, High Inquisitors. An excellent and exciting Game 1 topped off with a fantastic, high excitement team fight. Killer Fairy with no deaths, never lost a single stack of her Gambit, and just playing really safe behind that wall in the final team fight. Blaze just not able to get to her with his straight line E, and he took out half his health before that fight even really got going, forcing him to drop an early bunker. Murden, just, again, they were so patient, waiting for Red Team to get kind of split focused. Did they want to cap the point? Are they finished fighting the minions? And then really jumping on them. So, a lot more kills for our blue team. This game time seems to be bugged. But honestly, just an excellent, excellent game. Oh, even I'm out of breath. That might be because I talked the whole time, but I'd like to believe it's because it was exciting. So, in a moment here, we'll be told what our next map is going to be. But what an exciting match. And again, both teams playing really well, just a small, small mistake. Our next game is going to be played on Cursed Hollow. So another triple tribute, triple point collection map. It seems I'm not sure who picked this map. We'll see based on who gets first pick, but I mean, High Inquisitor have already shown they're very comfortable in this kind of setting. This is another map with a lot of choke points, a lot of tight little areas where the team fights are all close in. And unfortunately, as much as they used them very well, Can't Pause, Won't Pause wasn't able against High Inquisitors to use the globals to get a big experience advantage, unfortunately. So we'll see this time if their draft strategy changes. And if they're able to... Sorry, excuse me, I got a cough. That strategy changes, and if they're able to make the team fights a little easier on themselves with some characters that can bring out a little bit more damage, and not kind of be stuck on more utility damage like Falstad and Junkrat. But honestly, great, very close game by both teams. An excellent game 1, and again, from this caster's perspective, I'd love to see Can't Pause, Won't Pause game 2 so that we get 3. The more HOTS, the better. And thank you again to everyone watching this stream. It's always better when there's somebody enjoying the HOTS with you. Again, a fairly new caster. If you have any feedback, feel free to pop it in the chat, shoot it to me on Discord. Always open to constructive feedback. You suck isn't constructive, and you don't want to hear a caster cry, so let's leave that off the table. But, you know, if volumes are funny or I forget to change a scene, I'm only human. So, we are getting last members in here. It's possible we're going to see a sub on one of the teams. They haven't filled out their roster quite yet. And there we go. All right, so Cursed Hollow. Now, the curse, it does behave a bit differently, of course, than the Garden Terrors, but similar concept to just shutting things down. We are going to pop into the draft here, and we'll see if the drafts and bans look the same. Of course, this map has bosses, which the Garden of Terror does not have. So a team that drafts to perhaps invade their opponent's boss, to have a lot of zone control again, that's going to be an opportunity you have on this map that you wouldn't have had on Garden of Terror. So it seems like this map was picked by the High Inquisitors, because first pick, first ban is going to go to Can't Pause, Won't Pause. And Can't Pause, Won't Pause, hoping for the reverse sweep here. They haven't won yet this season, losing last week to Crit Kickers. So they really want to make sure. Now, if I'm recalling correctly, and people who know better tell me so, I think Killer Fairy is known for their Sylvanas. So I think that's why it's been the first ban both times. But yeah, Can't Pause, Won't Pause is going to be looking for their first win of the season. High Inquisitors won last week against Came From Behind. So, you know, any team Can't Pause, Won't Pause, they're not going to want to go into week 3 down 0-2 on the season. Same ban for High Inquisitors as last time, the Stukov. And again, another map where Stukov would be really valuable with puddles and all these little choke points, so a wise ban. It's always wise to ban Stukov, but especially on the maps with lots of little narrow corridors, he can be extremely frustrating. So we'll see what our second ban is here for Can't Pause, Won't Pause. They banned the Brightwing this time, not wanting to see the global, so that is a change of ban. Last time we saw that a Hawka ban come out from the High Inquisitor, so we'll see if they feel the same way again. Again, one of the higher value offlaners at this point in time. I would think this time Arco might want to go for a slightly higher health tank. He played really well on the ETC, but it seemed like between ETC and Blaze, they just got chunked so quickly. High Inquisitors banning their mascot. They might be risking the wrath of the HOTS deities by doing that. Anduin the first pick by my pal Shade. So last time, I believe Anduin was banned by Can't Pause, Won't Pause. This time, they value him highly enough to take him in the first slot. So these are the only 2 picks before the ban phase for the High Inquisitors, so they're going to choose what they feel is most priority. They take the Volsat this time, and the Anubarak for that hard engage. Again, lots of narrow corridors, lots of place for a Beetle to bring his epic enter. And so we've got the next 2 picks before it, the second ban phase, going to Can't Pause, Won't Pause. They still need every roll but a healer. We'll see if things like Vala, picking away the Vala is a priority for them. Or banning it away, possibly. Yes, Arco on the Diablo, very strong on that. And Waterlong takes a Junkrat again. He had really strong Junkrat plays, frequently bombing himself out of danger, and often being able to delay people on the point. And this is another point collection map, so Junkrat again being able to delay while teammates come back, while Diablo comes back after only 5 seconds with his souls. A lot of value can be found in that. Again, hopefully they're maybe bring a mage that can bring a bit more damage than Falstad did in the last game. Final ban for the side of the High Inquisitors. And they don't want to see Blaze. They feel like last game it brought a fair amount of value. So, no more tanky offlaner. No Artanis tonight either. Well, they haven't banned it yet, so I mean, you can still hope. I mean, after level 16, Artanis can really start to chunk out Diablo with those triple hit percentage auto attacks on Twin Strikes, so. And the Tychus ban, very common when you've drafted the Diablo. So the Vol and the Greymane that were played last game so effectively by Killer Fairy and Wafflecopter are still available. Now, Wafflecopter is on Falstad, but the high damage characters they enjoyed so much last time, both still available. And the Vala does get picked up by Killer Fairy. Let's see what we get for their next pick. Rhaegar again. Really good Rhaegar. He only missed one Ancestral, and that was... Malthael was already really getting picked on, but he did his best. But 3 or 4 really good Ancestrals on Omni, so absolutely, why not take it again? Core of this team similar with the Vala Rhaegar and a tank with stuns. Now, it was Murden last time. This time, Nubrak is a bit more one-directional with his stuns, but still, core of the team very similar, and they found success last game with it. We see the Dahaka and the Lunara, not banned this time, the Dahaka, and a lot of bushes on this map too. That race car coming out trying to grab your Falstad or your Vala can really disrupt a team fight. And Lunara with the vision control. But again, Junkrat and Lunara with slower damage outputs until later in the game. They're going to really have to rely on Diablo and Dahaka's CC to keep people distracted long enough to not kill their squishy backline. Leoric. Triple hit on Artanis at DPS loss. Its CD addition makes it weaker overall. I refuse to hear any naughty words about my stacking Artanis build. Don't make me turn Hoku into a mod so she can time you out, Jimmy. I won't hear anything bad about Artanis. Leo, the final one. A decent answer into Dahaka can slow down his rotates and is an excellent double soaker. Just like Malthael, so we're going to go into game number 2. Game 2, the High Inquisitors versus Can't Pause, Won't Pause. On the left, in blue, we have the High Inquisitors, who've won game 1 or up 1-0. PP Wolo on a Nubarak, Wafflecopter playing Falstad, Killer Fairy on Vala, Omni playing Rhaegar, and Tuesdays Free playing the Undead Skeleton King, Leoric. On the right, we've got King of the Zerg, Dahaka, played by Silent Shoe, the Lord of Terror, Diablo, played by Arco, Lunara played by Mischief, Junkrat played by Waterlong, and my pal Shade coming off the offlane to play Anduin. Let the battle begin. And both teams immediately coming to the mid lane to see whether a brawl is imminent. Killer Fairy going for the auto build again, and Falstad going for auto build again. So neither of these teams seeing a lot of value in the Q build Falstad, probably because they plan on putting him as a pseudo offlaner. Silent Shoe looking to do a little bit of damage with his W and clear the way, but he takes a lot of damage. They're just trying to stun out PP Wolo since he already used his E. He's trying to walk out here, waiting for his cooldown to come up, and he does manage to get to safety. Wafflecopter also taking a lot of damage from the Lunara. Leo, on the other hand, pushing for free and taking... well, let's call it maybe a third of the damage on that gate. Both teams trying to disrupt each other's rotations. Killer Fairy takes a big chunk from that Lunara damage. And we got some low health pools over here. Rhaegar looks like he might be rotating to this camp, and Vala will join him. As it seems like Lunara is going to go over to capture their siege camp. And Wafflecopter just waiting for a safe opportunity to clear this wave. As Dahaka and Leoric just play pool noodle fight over here in the top lane. Arca with the BM shove. I can't kill or even really hurt you, but hey, get away from my minions. Got 12 stacks for Vala's level 1 and 3 for Falstads, and Dahaka yet to fully get enough minions to get a stack of Racecar. Dahaka jumping on the Falstad and flipping it again. No damage followed Arco to this bot lane, and so he's actually going to take a lot of damage in return. Jumping in by himself, and the High Inquisitors are going to be first to hit level 4 as their camp And a big camp with a big wave crashes into the mid gate. Leo coming down as well as Dahaka clears out this lane. Leo having faster clear than Dahaka means he can give a little more value. Even though he's not global, he has a bit more value in the off lane from a clearing waves and rotating standpoint. Leo now going bottom to pick on the Dahaka. Or sorry, the Diablo as Dahaka pushes up here. Go swap CDR or Spell Armor or go home. Well, I guess I'm going home. They flip the Leo, but it's very hard to actually make a gank stick to Leo. Again, the timing on this excellent, as the red team's going to have to decide whether they're going to try and stop the siege camp or use all 5 to collect this point. I welcome discussions, but man, swap CDR and Artanis, I don't know. It's already pretty close to your Q timing. You don't want to make it way too short. And Arco using his abilities to intimidate. You don't scare me. My pal Shade is probably going to throw the W to try and delay this. Junkrat and Lunara coming down. Dahaka facing off against Falstad, but Dahaka does not like facing ranged characters in the offlane. Oh, but Blue managed to capture it. The delays aren't fast enough. And so, Lunara going to put down a little bit of damage. There's not really much point in skirmishing here anymore. The point is taken, and... well, the point is taken. Waterlong getting out, not getting hit by the CC. Level 7 reached about a quarter of a level faster by the High Inquisitors. Spicy buffalo chicken dip is spicy. You burnt your tongue? Well, you're going to have some artichoke and spinach dip to survive. My pal Shade getting hit by Wolo. Wolo really aggressively playing tank here, trying to slow down these rotates and just keep the healer from joining his team. Dahaka having to back here against the Falstad. Again, Dahaka really struggles when he has to face ranged characters. It can be very frustrating. You can't even go kill minions to try and get your passive activated. And so you're just kind of stuck either letting them push into your gates or taking free damage. Now there's a big fight happening that apparently I was ignoring as I talk about Dahaka. But nobody dies. And the second point... oh, the stun there on PP Wolo, but... again, the damage here from their damage dealers is a slow damage, and so PP Will is able to survive fine. Silent Shoot comes in, but he's taking a lot of damage from this Leo and this Falstad. He pops his passive. Does he have Burrow still? He doesn't, and he dies. And even though it's on their side of the map, it seems like can't stop, won't stop. Is going to have to... my pal Shade steps up to try to do the delay, but that puts his team in a rough spot, and they get CC'd in this choke by the Anubrak. The jump on the Vala, they're going to try and get the kill to stop her from having Gambit stacks, but no, they're not able to, and Arco instead is going to go down. Mischief now in a bad place. She's also taking too much damage. Oh, she gets away with 45 hit points. Unbelievable. Waterlong now taking a lot of damage from Leo. Manages to escape, but again, they lose their tank. They're a full level behind, and they give up the point. And now they're going to lose their mid-gate. Falstad flies bottom to match the Dahaka and again make his life a living hell. Leo going top, and about, I don't know, maybe 15% of the mid fort has gone down here. Both teams stepping back to take a little bit of a break and a breather. This camp once again being taken. So it seems like the High Inquisitors know when and with whom they want to take the camp pretty much all the time. Last time they knew when they wanted to take this camp with Omni and Killer Fairy, and they do it again here. Omni backing to refill his mana, as 20 seconds should give him just enough time to come back here as Leo takes the siege camp. PP Wolo keeping an eye on who might be here. He gets seen by the Dahaka, but just hits him with the Q and walks away. They kill the Lunara Vision that's in this bush. And both teams have everyone here. Now, with everyone here and no one clearing mid, if this is another long team fight, that Bruiser camp is going to get a lot of value against the mid fort. And they're sending Dahaka up to deal with it already, but he does not have the fastest clear. So Lunara is standing here, waiting to see if she needs to be the one to... Falstad comes up. Everybody's got 10s. There's a lockdown on Leo. Tuesday's free, taking a fair amount of damage, but it's healed right up. The Hawk taking a lot from the Falstad. He almost goes down, but he taps and uses his passive. The Gust comes down on Anduin. Silent Shoot digs behind, is trying to attack. Out comes the Apocalypse, and there's a stun. The Light Bomb comes down also on Rhaegar. They're targeting Rhaegar, but the Cocoon comes out on Anduin. A lot of damage on the Lunara, but she goes down. And Silent Shoot's being taken down as well. He goes underground, but that's not enough. Killer Fairy finishes him. Arco shoving PP Wolo into the wall, but there's just not enough damage here anymore as Killer Fairy takes the point, and the Curse is up against. They're continuing to fight, and this mid-keep fort is going to go down. Arco is going to be killed by the High Inquisitor. He goes down also. My pal Shade attempting to get from Leoric, and it looks like he's going to. But even this top fort, so much value from having good lane priority, and the High Inquisitors have taken complete control of this game. Dahaka almost fully stacked. Adaptation for Dahaka instead of Isolation. We don't have the Lightning Breath, so slightly different choices here on the tanky fellers. Keep an eye on the damage. A lot of damage on Leo there. Cocoon, Gust, Rain of Vengeance, Ancestral Healing, and Entomb. So a pretty standard state of ultimates from the High Inquisitors. 20 more seconds left on the Curse, but it seems like they're just going to let these waves push in. They're going to hit 13, a level and a half before Can't Pause, Won't Pause. And Can't Pause, Won't Pause is going to have to find a way to be patient, soak, and get a little higher. Now, Lunara's damage does scale pretty well the later the game goes. And Junkrat is going for stacking bombs. Taste of explosions? Taste for explosions. So longer this game goes, hopefully, the more in their favor the team fights can go. But Vala is stacking as well, and they've already taken their boss. They're rotating towards top boss. If Red Team isn't careful, they're going to die to this invade. Now, they do have vision of this coming, and they're going to back off their boss. The bomb pushes Wolo back and then here comes the False, and he's looking for a big Gust play. The Light Bomb goes down, stuns too. Rhaegar, Ancestral, onto Killer Fairy, but Arco's taking a lot of damage in the back. So did Falstad. Arco goes down. My pal Shade very low. Leo focusing him down. Silent Shoe trying to disrupt the team fight. Mischief chunking out Tuesday's free. Silent Shoe taking a bunch of damage from the Vala and the Falstad. He goes down. And what a risky fight. That's all of Diablo's souls. He had just finished it. Now he's down to 25 again. And that's now 2 bosses. And even more kills. The kills are 7-0 for the High Inquisitors. As it seems like last game they were just warming up. Lunara alone here, and the keep wall goes down. As the High Inquisitors, they're going to steal this camp as well. And again, a risky play. Not necessarily a terrible decision by Can't Pause, Won't Pause to try and take their boss, but they just reacted too slowly. They needed to get out of there more quickly, and they are still down a full talent tier. And they're not going to have much answer. Can't Pause, Won't Pause has very little answer to stopping what's going on at their mid-keep. It's going to go down. Even with the damage they can put out on their enemies. They're in a rough spot. 120 stacks, essentially, for Vala already. Only 69 for Junkrat and 5 per race car to Hawk. Again, they need this game to go later, but the High Inquisitors just aren't letting this game go late. They don't want to see 20s. Stun onto Silent Shoot there. Out comes the Riptire. Arco goes in. They try to get value on the Apocalypse, but it hits only Leo using his E, so it does nothing at all. Killer Fairy gets grabbed, but an insta cleanse. Excellent work by the Rhaegar there. Arco takes so much damage and is instantly down. Dahaka also trying to go. Gets finished off. Mischief gets the tiny little hug pull from Anduin. You're my friend, Lunara. Oh, the double E! PP Wool, they get on the Junkrat. He's dead instantly, and they might be looking to end this game. They have a full 3-level lead with the talent lead as well, and they are ready to end this game. Just really well played with their CCs. An excellent cleanse, not allowing Vala to go down, and they just capture and kill Lunara as well. A GG is called, and unfortunately for Can't Pause, Won't Pause, they are defeated 2-0 as game number 2 goes to the High Inquisitors. Is this best of 3? Yes, yes it was. And that is game 2. So when we look at the summary, it is 11-0 in kills for the High Inquisitors. And again, they didn't have the huge damage numbers. Their damage is actually fairly well spread out, but they just knew where and when to apply this damage, and the Nubrak was even scarier than the Muradin for PP Wolo. I think every person on this team really played their role excellently. That cleanse by Omni in the end game, excellently done. And again, I don't think you can trash the play of can't pause, won't pause. Both teams calm, patient, trying to find their outs. But some of those desperation fights at the end where Arco and Silent Shoe would try to force something to happen, it just didn't go their way. And unfortunately, for us viewers who wanted to see 3 games, that is a quick 2-0 for the High Inquisitors. So let's find out if anybody on their team would like an interview. Wow. Still catching my breath after that. Just an incredible match. And again, the 2-0 doesn't show how close uh, they were.
Hey, Monster.
Hello, how are you, Pix?
Good, you?
Good. So, who are you in this game?
Bala.
Killer
Killer
Fairy.
Fairy. Yes.
I was wondering if the reason that there was so much ban on the Sylvanas, I seem to recall there being an absolutely excellent Killer Fairy Sylvanas that people did not want to see.
Sylve is one of my mains. I was kind of surprised they banned it both games. I was thinking of playing it, but I was like, if they're gonna give me the Vala and they're gonna show like what they showed, I'm like, oh Diablo, now I want to play Vala.
So it's a meta where a lot of people are really starting to enjoy seeing Ariel. She's been very strong. Neither team prioritized her in picks or bans. Is there a reason your team? I mean, Omni's Rexar was fantastic. Is there a reason that your team didn't find Ariel a priority?
Um, I'm I mean, I like Ariel. I was thinking about saying it, but what we showed and what they showed, I think it was better to have the Rhaegar, especially on that map where we want the help with the clear, like the camp clear and stuff. It
Yeah.
worked out.
And the camp clear was very, very good. Now, that last team fight on the second map, a great tongue by Silent Shoe to grab you, and Omni instant on that cleanse. How many beers do
Yeah,
you owe
that was
Omni for that?
awesome.
Once Omni gets 3 beers in him, not two,
Oh,
not four, the
yeah,
cleanse
yeah.
is perfect time every time.
It was an excellent cleanse, and like I was saying in the cast, I think everyone here played very, very well. Games closer than the 2-0 domination. Wafflecopter, you you just blew up in the end of game one in that team fight. Your Greymane just tackling through about 3 members of Can't Pause, Won't Pause. Are you really comfortable on Greymane, or were you just really lucky?
He
He
is
had to
not
go
He's
here.
not
celebrate
here.
his victory, so he's got to
Oh,
Yeah.
I
do
see.
dancing and
Well,
you
can
know.
one of you guys answer for him? Is he just an excellent Greymane, or did you guys just set him
He's
up
I
for
think
it?
he got lucky. I think.
I think he's an excellent everything. So
I think he's great. I think his positioning's good. He's probably one a great Greymane player because he's very cautious about things. So
Hey, everybody who's listening, make sure you ban Greymane if Waffle's playing against you.
It wasn't banned this time, and he played a great false stat as well. I had one more question before I give you guys an opportunity for your shoutouts. After game one, it seems like you guys got to pick game two. And it was a very similar style of map with a point control sort of idea. Now, you guys had a much stronger team fight comp in game one. In game two, again, it seems like you focused on putting Killer Fairy on Vala, on something that can really carry a team fight. Did you pick? I guess the question is, what factors made you pick Cursed Hollow with how similar it was to Garden of Terror?
I would just say good scouting, honestly. I I like every map. I know some of the guys don't like the super team. I don't want to say
You like
which
to
one it
sold out.
is.
Ugh.
I don't want to say which one it is.
love
The map
Braxis.
I
love
love.
Braxis.
But fine, it's Braxis. I love Braxis, and nobody
Terrible
ever
map.
wants to play it. No
Horrible
other
map.
team. No, not my team. But this we just saw what maps that the other team bans often and what they like, and we just try to take them to the opposite.
Well, it really paid off for you with the 2-0 over them, and you guys really seemed to control from pretty early on in game two. Is there any shoutouts you'd like to make before we close the stream today?
Shout out to my mom.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I like her
for
too.
being there. No, shout out to you. Thanks for casting. I'm really happy we have more casters this season. It's really awesome. And anyone that can cast should sign up to be a caster because the teams really love being casted. And shout out to you guys, my team, our subs. Like, I love all these guys. They're like basically family.
Well, great job to you guys. It was a pleasure casting you guys for both the stream and for you guys. The VODs will be on Twitch for 7 days if you'd like to review them, and I do upload them to a YouTube channel which has my name, Omster, as well. If you want to use them for scouting purposes or review purposes, I made sure that they're available. Thank you so much to both Can't Pause, Won't Pause, and the High Inquisitors. Just an excellent, excellent match.